overture from Puffy. I don't believe he really wants her back. I believe he probably treated her at some particular point like a possession. Like a possession.
Y'all, it looks like Katt Williams is back at it again, trying to expose Diddy for putting a head out on Wendy Williams when she tried to expose him for being on a DL. Now, just when we thought that Katt Williams was done spilling all the tea he could spill on Diddy and his alleged crimes, he is now coming forward with these new allegations about how Diddy has allegedly been trying to unalive Wendy Williams since the 90s, all because she spills some crazy tea on him. Now, everybody knows that Wendy is the queen of spilling tea, and she's definitely iconic for that. But Diddy thinks that she went too far, and according to Katt, he allegedly tried to take Wendy out because of it. Now, this explains why Wendy and Diddy have been offs for as long as we can remember, even when they tried to make up. But that's not all that Katt had to say, because he revealed how Diddy has allegedly been sending people after Wendy for years, even after she stopped speaking on him. This is the latest string of allegations by Katt against Diddy, and how he has been getting away with shady behavior for a long time. And it doesn't look like Katt is about to slow down, because the details he just revealed about how Diddy allegedly tried to take Wendy out is crazy.
Radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle.
So how you doing? No one can ever say it just like Wendy, because people have practically been begging for Wendy to make a comeback and to spill the tea on Diddy ever since he started facing lawsuits and getting called out for his shady behavior. Can you imagine if the Wendy Williams show was still on right now, child? Well, it looks like Katt Williams is finally throwing us a bone, because he's speaking up about Diddy and his weird relationship with Wendy. Let me tell y'all, Katt is dropping some serious bombshells. And what he's saying about Diddy has got us all shook. He's claiming that Diddy is allegedly having something to do with Wendy's current CEDAW citation, claiming that Diddy allegedly tried to delete Wendy Williams for speaking on him. Now, if you've been keeping tabs on Wendy before she left her talk show, you'd know that she and Diddy have never exactly been besties, because they've had their fair share of beef throughout the years. Sure, they tried to play nice a couple of years ago, claiming that they buried the hatchet and all that jazz. But it seems like that was just for show, because according to Katt Williams, Wendy still holds a grudge against Diddy, and she's been nursing it for good 32 years now, and no sign of letting go anytime soon. But before we dive into Katt's latest revelations about Diddy, let's rewind a bit and talk about how this whole feud started in the first place. You see, Wendy has been nursing this grudge because, according to Katt, he not only got her fired from her gig and nearly derailed her career, but she also claims he put her in a safety risk. Allegedly, he even had people coming after her back in the early 90s, not long after Diddy had launched his Bad Boy record, with some heavyweights backing him in Hollywood like Clive Davis. Wendy also got a job at Hot 97 radio station. Didn't take long for tensions to rise between her and Diddy. Now, at the time, Bad Boy Records boasted an impressive lineup of artists, including big names like Elkin, Biggie Smalls, Faith Evans, and the girl group Toto, among others. Now, did he use Top 97 as a platform to push his artists and get their tracks on the airwaves? So when Wendy started hearing some less than flattering opinions about him, he got modded. Now, despite Bad Boy Records being relatively new, it was already making waves in the industry. So naturally, Diddy wasn't thrilled about Wendy's criticisms. Now, the mature thing would have been to sit down and hash things out with Wendy, right? But as we've come to learn about Diddy, diplomacy isn't exactly his strong suit when it comes to dealing with people he sees as ops. So instead of opting for a civil conversation, he allegedly arranged for Wendy to get jumped by his girl group, then Toto.
I remember I got off the air one day and them Toto bitches were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. I wasn't yet married. My knight in shining armor screeched up in his car just out of nowhere. I didn't even know what was about to happen. Skell hiding like a girl. Thanks, Skell. I'm standing in the door like, what? And I'm literally about to go through. Now, I'm not like, what, let's fight, because I'm not one of those type of broads. And plus, there was 3 of them.
Y'all, Toto was in there like in the middle of the day. Now, one day, I seem to think of hitting you. Oh yeah, like, why did he do that? One minute you're thinking you've hit the jackpot, signing with a major record deal, and your dreams of stardom are all coming together. Then out of the blue, you're getting called up to defend your boss because somebody hurt his feelings with some words. Yeah, that's just one instance of how he tried to use his artist for stuff that they never signed up for. But Toto wasn't the only ones that got caught up in this drama either. Shine got the short and other stick too back in the day when Diddy and Jennifer Lopez were in the spotlight. There was a wild shooting incident at a club. Diddy got slapped with charges, looking at some serious time behind bars below, and behold, those charges vanished into thin air. and Diddy strolled away scot-free. Turns out the reason they disappeared was because Diddy threw Shine, one of his own artists, who was with him that night, right under the bus. Let him take the fall. According to his former bodyguard, Diddy allegedly paid witnesses to testify against Shine during the trial. But the wild part about all this is that Bad Boy Records then dropped Shine when he was in prison. Shine also confirmed that Diddy had betrayed him in a 2020 interview where he said, "Puff, apologize. He did apologize to me for that when we met in Paris. He did say that he could have handled it better, but he was under a lot of pressure from the liars to throw me under the bus." So according to Katt, Diddy had a habit of treating his artists like pawns in his game, using them to do his dirty work, even if it meant throwing down his own enemies. But luckily Wendy had her then boyfriend Kevin Hunter watching her back when Total came a-knocking, ready to throw down. Because let's be real, Wendy's got a sharp tongue, but them legs and them arms, she was not going to be throwing nobody's hands, cause that's not her. Then facing off against 3 members of Total would have had her in over her head talking about hitting you, all that I've been thinking of. But y'all know Wendy wasn't about to let a little run-in like that shut her up. Nope, not her. But if Diddy thought a close call with 2 was going to silence her, he had another thing coming. Wendy doubled down, turning up the heat on Diddy, stealing even more D than ever as payback. And she's been serving up pettiness since day one. And did he learn the hard way? But then he fought back harder, and he fought dirtier, super dirty. A couple of months after she almost got jumped by Diddy's girl group Toto, she clapped back at him by leaking a picture of his son Justin Combs playing with his #1 op Suge Knight, and it was so embarrassing for Diddy. But if you think that the beef between Diddy and Suge is intense, just picture what it was like 30 years ago. They were smack dab in the middle of a big old East Coast versus West Coast showdown. Let me tell you, all the animosity was thick all over the nation. And Diddy and Sh had nothing but pure hatred for each other. Speaking of Diddy, back then, he was caught up in a drama of his own. He was denying that he was the father of Justin, claiming that it wasn't his kid, and accusing Misa Hilton of trying to trap him with another man's baby. But it's wild to think that Diddy was throwing shade like that when there were reports spreading about him putting his hands on Misa. According to Gene Deal, he wasn't exactly treating her with kid gloves. He was allegedly putting his hands on her and was allegedly brutal about it.
Misa was out there. She was messing with the dude from EPMD. That's why Puff first beat her ass.
It's absolutely wild that Diddy would even think that Misa would pull a stunt like that, especially considering the alleged mistreatment that she endured from him just for talking to other guys. But hey, I guess that's Diddy for you, always quick to protect his image no matter the costs. So when he dropped that picture of his son hanging out with his biggest to Suge Knight, it was a major blow to his ego. But things went from bad to worse when rumors started swirling that Wendy had an even juicier pick up her sleeve, one that could seriously tarnish its reputation. Now, back in those days, the 1990s, even a whisper about a rapper's sexuality could spell disaster for their career, and he couldn't afford to have that kind of scandal on his hands. And then came the final straw. Wendy hinted on her show that she had some seriously damaging evidence against him. A word on the streets is that an insider spilled the tea to Diddy about what the evidence was. Now, allegedly, Diddy and his crew had taken a trip to some beach or island paradise for some wild party with a bunch of ladies. But there was allegedly another man in the picture. And not just any man, if you catch my drift. As it turns out, Diddy wasn't exactly chasing after the ladies on the trip, because his interests were laying elsewhere. Rumor had it that someone took a pic of him in a compromising situation, with this said man getting his shorts pulled down by another dude, and that P was like a ticking time bomb ready to blow up in his face for his whole reputation. Well, of course, Diddy started scrambling and went on the full-on damage control mode, moving fast to shut Wendy down before she could leak the PCK and wreck his image for good. How well? According to Gene Deal, Diddy threw some serious weight around to get Wendy fired from her gig at Hot 97. Now, remember how I mentioned earlier that Diddy used the station to push his artists and their songs, right? Well, Gene spilled the tea that Diddy threatened to take all his artists' song